Hello dear students, welcome to this lecture on human development and its indicators. The key objective of this lecture are to define human development, understand the approaches of human development, measurement of human development and other human development indexes. Dear students, now let us begin with meaning of human development. The term human development may be defined as an expansion of human capabilities, widening choices, enhancement of freedom, and fulfillment of human rights. At the beginning, the notion of human development incorporates the need for income expansion. However, income growth should consider the expansion of human capabilities, as income growth is essential, so are health, education, physical environment and freedom. Hence, human development should embrace human rights and socio-economic political freedoms. Based on the notion of human development, the Human Development Index is constructed to serve as a more humane measure of development than a strictly income-based benchmark of per capita GNP. The first UNDP Human Development Report published in 1990 stated, I quote, "The basic objective of development is to create an enabling environment for people to enjoy long, healthy and creative lives," unquote. It also defined human development as, I quote, "a process of enlarging people's choices and strengthening human capabilities," unquote, to enable them to lead longer, healthier and fuller lives. From this particular definition of human development, one gets an idea of three critical issues involved in human development interpretation: to lead a long and healthy life, to be educated, and to enjoy a decent standard of living. Besides these three central parameters of human development, as a process of expanding people's choices, there are additional choices that include political freedoms, other guaranteed human rights, and various ingredients of self-respect. Human development is thus a process of widening people's choices as well as raising the level of well-being achieved. Moreover, the notion of human development embraces the widening of all human choices, whether economic, social, cultural, or political. The evolution of the concept of human development can be traced to the writings of renowned thinkers and philosophers of ancient times. Aristotle, the great philosopher, reflected in his writing that, I quote, "Wealth is not good that we are seeking for, it is merely for the sake of something else," unquote. Another great philosopher, Immanuel Kant, argues that human beings are ends in themselves rather than the means to other ends. Adam Smith, Robert Malthus, Karl Marx, John Stuart Mill, and many other modern economists have also come forward with a similar idea of treating human beings as the real end of all activities. However, the undeniable reality is that human beings are the beneficiaries of progress, and at the same time, they are directly or indirectly the primary means of production. Thus, human beings are the means to bring about productive progress. As it emerged in late 1980s, the human development approach represented a radical departure in two ways. First, it challenged the utilitarian assumption on which much of the development economics rest. Above all, following the path-breaking work of Sen, the development process is seen expanding the capabilities of people rather than increasing utility, economic welfare or satisfaction. Later, Mehboobu'l Haq, the special advisor to the administrator, persuaded the UNDP to endorse the human development approach. Beginning in 1990, the UNDP issued its first annual Human Development Report, which expanded the concept of human development and attempted to show how the strategy could be translated into operational terms for policymakers. Given all these developments vis-a-vis the concept and evolution of the concept, human development has been accepted in development economics literature as an expansion of human capabilities, widening of choices, and enhancement of freedoms, and fulfillment of human rights. This was all about the concept and meaning of human development. Now, let me try and explain the approaches to human development. The human development approach is inherently multidimensional. The central goal of human development is to enable people to become direct agents in their own lives. People are not passive objects of social welfare provisions, but are active subjects with the power to determine how they choose to live. They should be empowered so that they can define their respective priorities as well as choose the best means to achieve them. In order to be agents of their own lives, people need the freedom to be educated, to speak in public without fear, or to have freedom of expression and association. The four main pillars of human development are equity, efficiency and productivity, participation and empowerment, and sustainability. Now, we will first define the concept of equity. The principle of equity encompasses the ideal of equality, whereby all human beings should have equal rights and entitlements to human, social, economic and cultural development, and an equal voice in civic and political life. It also recognizes that those who have unequal opportunities due to various disadvantages may require preferential treatment or affirmative action. For example, the utility derived from the same levels of income or investment will vary for different individuals depending upon their personal attributes, initial endowments, or convergent factors which facilitate the transformation of inputs into outcomes. Since the opportunities available to different sections of the society vary, ensuring that the sections deprived of basic opportunities such as health and education are provided access to these benefits is the goal of equality. Thus, equity aims at equality for economic resources, education, health, employment opportunities, and democratic participation. Realization of the goal of equal opportunities leads to equity outcomes. Now, we will define efficiency and productivity. Efficiency is defined as least costly method of reaching goals through the optimal use of human, material, and institutional resources to maximize opportunities for individuals and communities, thereby enhancing productivity. Efficient use of scarce resources leads, for instance, to building infrastructure like roads and dams, which in turn leads to better outcomes for human beings. Productivity can be enhanced through the efficient use of resources. It also requires investment in people and enabling a macroeconomic environment for them to achieve their maximum potential. For human development, people must be enabled to increase their productivity and participate fully in maximizing opportunities to become effective agents of growth. Now, we will define participation and empowerment. Participation in social and political life are important to human development. People's participation is crucial in community programs and government interventions. Mobilization of grassroots support through decentralization and planning will increase people's participation in decision making because it brings the government closer to people. Participation also enables people to seek answers from authorities and can go a long way in improving the quality of social service delivery. It pressurizes local authorities to take swift remedial action in situations where gaps or shortfalls are identified in the functioning of institutions. Empowerment can occur through enhanced participation and involvement. For instance, reservation of women in various elected bodies are made to empower them through such participation. Dear students, now let us have a concept of sustainability as well. Human development questions the long-term sustainability of economic growth and aims to ensure that resources are utilized to meet present-day human needs while preserving the environment so that the needs of future generation can also be met. Hence, using resources without degrading the environment is essential to ensure that improvements made are not temporary in nature and have the potential for future growth. For instance, if the development process does not create institutions that are supportive of people's rights, it cannot be sustainable in the long run. Now, dear students, we will discuss measurement and indices of human development. In this section, we will discuss three important aspects relating to the measurement of human resources, emergence of human development report, then measurement of human development and other human development indices. First, dear students, we will discuss the emergence of human development reports. After the Second World War, an obsession grew with the economic growth models and national income accounts, viewing people as agents of change and beneficiaries of development became secondary. The late 1980s was ripe for a counter-offensive as human lives were shriveling in several countries, even as economic production was expanding. The human costs of the structural adjustment programs in 1980s undertaken in many developing countries under the aegis of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank had been extremely harsh. These measures prompted questions about the human face of structural adjustment and whether alternative policy options were available to balance financial budgets while protecting the interest of society's weakest and most vulnerable sections. The idea of human development has been circulated in policy circles and human development debates over the past 2 decades. In this favorable climate, Mehbubul Haq, an economist, proposed the idea of preparing an annual human development report, and this was a move away from the usual annual World Development Reports suggested to the United Nations Development Programme administrator in 1989. He readily accepted the idea that such a report should be independent of any formal clearance through the United Nations. The first Human Development Report emerged in 1990 and subsequent issues sought to bring the human development perspective to bear on wide range of issues. In addition to the annual report, many countries produce their own national and regional human development reports intended to assess populations from the perspective of the quality of people's life. Now, dear students, we will discuss the concept of measurement of human development. The Human Development Index became a landmark event when it replaced the hitherto supreme income measure. The search for an alternative measure had been on for a long time, beginning around the period after World War II. Various agencies, organizations and individuals like the UN, the Food and the Agricultural Organization, the Organization for the Economic Cooperation and the Development, the UN Research Institute for Social Development, the World Bank and others made efforts to evolve an alternative measure to replace the economic measures. The focus of these attempts was oriented towards calculating an appropriate measure which took into account the social concerns of any country's development, such as individual security, social adjustment, political participation, freedom, justice, peace and harmony, in addition to health, literacy, employment, income, consumption and so on. Conceptualizing aspects of living standards and being able to measure them posed many philosophical as well as statistical problems. Most agencies arrived at the conclusion that no single indicator could serve a similar purpose as gross domestic product, nor was it considered feasible. Efforts towards creating a composite index by combining a set of crucial variables were ongoing through this period. Many earlier efforts were abortive, although these endeavors resulted in enriching the conceptual issues surrounding human well-being. The search for a new composite index of socio-economic progress began in earnest in preparing the Human Development Report under the sponsorship of UNDP in 1989. The new Human Development Index would measure the basic dimensions of human development to enlarge people's choices. The HDI measures the average achievements of a country and is calculated by taking three indicators. First is longevity, as measured by life expectancy at birth. Second important indicator is educational attainment as measured by a combination of adult literacy, to which 2/3 weight is given, and combined primary, secondary and tertiary enrollment ratio, to which 1/3 weight is given. Third important indicator is decent standard of living, as measured by real GDP per capita based on purchasing power parity in terms of dollar. With these three variables, the Human Development Index is constructed in three simple steps. The first step is to define country's measure of deprivation of each of the three basic variables. The minimum and maximum values are defined for the actual observed values of each of the three variables in all the countries. The deprivation measure then places the country in 0 to 1 range, where 0 is the minimum observed value and 1 is the maximum. So, if the minimum observed life expectancy, for example, is 40 years, the maximum is 80 years and the country's life expectancy is 50 years, then its index value for life expectancy will be 0.25. This index value is derived in the manner like the difference between the actual value of the indicator for any country minus the minimum value as the numerator and the difference between the maximum and the minimum values as denominator. It will give us the index value. And second step is to compile an average indicator by taking a simple average of the human development of all the three indicators. The third step is to measure Human Development Index as 1 minus the average deprivation index. In 2021, the top 3 countries in the world in terms of Human Development Index were Norway with its HDI value at 0.957, followed by Iceland, its HDI value at 0.955, and Hong Kong, its HDI value was 0.949. Though it is observed that Human Development Index is steadily rising. For example, in 2001, India's Human Development Index was 0.51, which has increased to 0.646 in 2021 out of the 182 countries studied in the Human Development Report, growing at an average annual rate of 1.34% based on an overall improvement in health, education, and income indicators. Now, we will discuss other human development indices. Over the years, the Human Development Report sought to enrich the concept, analyze one specific aspect of human development critically, and develop more elegant measures of well-being. Among many indices introduced in Human Development Report, some have become annual features, while others have been discarded for want of data and feasibility of calculating indices across countries. The Human Freedom Index is one such measure. Among the indices that have gained popularity and widespread acceptance despite a significant share of critique and debates are the Human Development Index, the Gender Related Development Index, the Gender Empowerment Measure, and the Human Poverty Index, HPI 1 for developing countries and HPI 2 for selected OECD countries. Each of these indices is based on a set of chosen indicators. The HPI 1, designed for developing countries, considers the same three dimensions through four identified indicators, as opposed to the Human Development Index, which measures the overall progress of a country in achieving human development. The Human Poverty Index reflects the distribution of progress and measures the backlog of deprivations that still exists. HPI 1 is based on the probability at birth of not surviving to age of 40, the adult literacy rate, deprivation in overall economic provisioning, public and private, reflected by the percentage of the population without sustainable access to an improved water source, percentage of children under 5 years who are underweight. HPI 2 was devised as a measure of human poverty in industrial countries, since human deprivation varies with a community's social and economic conditions. It is based on four indicators: the probability at birth of not surviving to age 60, the percentage of adults lacking literacy skills, the percentage of people living below the poverty line, and long-term unemployment rate. Two other new indices were introduced in 1995. These are Gender Related Development Index and a Gender Empowerment Measure. The GDI measures achievements in the same dimensions and variables as Human Development Index, but takes into account inequality in achievements between women and men. The greater the gender disparity in human development, the lower the country's GDI compared to its HDI. Gender equality measure exposes inequality in opportunities in selected areas, the participation of women in economic and political life and in decision making. This index focuses on women's opportunities and agency and captures gender inequality in three key areas. First, political participation and decision making power as measured by women's and men's percentage share of parliamentary seats. Second, economic participation and decision making power as measured by two indicators: women's and men's percentage share of positions as senior officials and managers, and women's and men's percentage shares of professional and technical positions. Power over economic resources as measured by women's earned income share as a percentage of men's purchasing power parity in US dollars. Dear students, let's now conclude this lecture. Human development encompasses a multifaceted process that empowers individuals by expanding their choices, promoting freedom, and ensuring the realization of fundamental of human rights. Among the myriad choices available, the most crucial ones include the ability to lead a long and healthy life, access to quality education, availability of resources necessary for a decent standard of living. While the Human Development Index was devised to gauge these fundamental aspects of human development, it is important to acknowledge that concept itself is far more comprehensive, and human development measures only provide a limited perspective. Indeed, it is essential to recognize that Human Development Index cannot fully capture the richness and complexity inherent in the human development perspective. It serves as a valuable tool, but it should not be regarded as a substitute for a more comprehensive examination of the multifaceted concerns associated with human development. Crafting a comprehensive measure that encompasses all dimensions of human development is an arduous task and in reality an impossible feat, as numerous vital aspects of human development defy quantification. Therefore, it is imperative to approach the evaluation of human development with a nuanced understanding of its intricacies. While Human Development Index offers valuable insight, it is crucial to supplement it with broader examination of multifarious factors that contribute to human development. Doing so can give us more comprehensive and holistic understanding of the diverse dimensions that shape human well-being and progress. This brings me to the end of the lecture. Hope to see you next time with a new topic. Goodbye.